Hey guys, Trader Main here with another video. It's over. You missed the bull run. It's done. The top is in. So I hope you made enough money to survive, because otherwise you're going to have to go back to your day job, assuming that your day job hasn't already been overtaken by the clankers, by AI. So that's what you would think if you were on crypto Twitter over the last couple days. We're seeing a lot of people who were bull posting near the top, telling you the 4-year cycle's over. It's a super cycle. It's never going down again. We're now at the range lows here, and these same people are telling you, hey, this looks just like 2021. It's over. Nice cycle. Too bad, so sad. Nothing can pump the market. So hilarious stuff as always. As usual, I tell you guys, most people on Twitter do not know what they're talking about. They lack the ability to have conviction in their ideas. There's nothing wrong with changing your bias. If you were bullish here and then something's happened that's made you bearish here, by all means, that's totally fine. But just flip-flopping your bias as price goes up and down is very silly. You need to have a plan. You need to have points of invalidation. I am still in the camp that this shit is not over. Now, I have been telling you guys, I don't believe in the super cycle. I don't believe that this time is different. I do believe that we probably top at some point in the next few months, whether it be Q4 or into Q1 of next year. That being said, I don't think we top yet. Now, I do see some legitimate cause for concern with regard to the high time frame chart, where if you're looking at this thing and you say, hey, we've got the weekly sweep here. Right? We've got the weekly sweep here. We've got the weekly sweep here. We got the weekly sweep here. We got the weekly sweep here. This could be this, and this could be this. That's the comparison we're seeing. It is possible, right? It's absolutely possible that it's over and the top is already in. I just don't think that that's the case, because the rates still haven't been cut yet. Okay. The digital asset treasury narrative, in my opinion, has not played out yet. It hasn't really even reached mania yet. And most importantly, in my opinion, even though it's hardest to quantify, so many people are saying it's over. Generally, what happens at the top is the vast majority of people are screaming that it's never going to end. Bitcoin's going to $1 million. It's going to 500,000. It's never coming down. A lot of my feed is saying, wow, this looks a lot like this. Like maybe it's done. And it's just more often than not, that's just never how it works. Now, there are some signs of concern that we're going to cover, and I've been talking about these in the past. We talked about them in the last video, but I'm still of the belief that we get one more leg. I'm in the camp of one more leg, and I like to think that we are here or here as opposed to, up here or here. Could be wrong. But my plan has a point of invalidation. My decision making is based on the chart, not on emotion, not on the ebbs and flows of day-to-day things you see on crypto Twitter from people. It's based on what I see in the chart. I have clear levels where I will flip my bias. So let's talk about the scenarios, okay? So what I've mapped out here is the same levels from the last few videos, right? We still have that 2024 all-time high, and we have this weekly order block. If you go back to 2021, right, the weekly order block wasn't as convincing here because it did not make a higher high with a market structure close, right? We did not get a market structure break above this high. It ended up being a sweep. Whereas here, this to me is a significant break above this high generated from here, okay? And I'm going to put my I guess my thoughts in that, or my faith, in that until we convincingly start losing these levels here, I'm going to remain bullish. Now, does that mean that, hey, maybe we do end up topping, right? And then this was it. I might then end up selling at 100K instead of 110 or 120. But seeing as we bought throughout this entire bull market here, every single low publicly, and I already sold some spot, as you guys know, at 110, again, publicly. If I missed the top by give or take 10 to 20%, but I longed the meat of a 600% move, I'm fucking happy with that, right? And I'm never going to sell the exact top. I did not sell the top here. I sold well before the top. In 2017, I sold before we got to 20K, right? And I'm going to be out. I've sold some. I sold some of my spot here, as you guys remember, and I tweeted it. The stuff I bought here, I sold some here. And if we start losing this, I'll sell more, but that's okay, because if I'm able to catch from here to here, right? Didn't quite catch the bottom, didn't quite catch the top. This is the meat of the move. We're very happy with this. So my bias is going to remain bullish until we get some pretty ugly closes here through this zone. Because to me, the weekly structure is this. And as long as that remains intact, I think that this can continue to go up from here. And I'm not going to worry. That's my bias, right? So I'm going to remain bullish, but if price tells me otherwise, I will then flip bearish, and that's okay. So could we come down a little lower? Yeah, we could come down, take out these lows. This is all the stuff I talked about in the last video, right? We can come down, tag some of these lows, tag this daily breaker, and still go up. Really, the key for the bulls is going to be getting back above this 111 level. If we're able to get back above, and we tried to here, we failed. If we're able to get back above this 111 level, I think that's very important. But in terms of like closes and significant time below, I don't really want to see us holding below this prior all-time high for too long of a period of time. We can spend a couple days here, but if we're not getting back above here early next week, and it's like consistent closes down here, and we're getting a daily close through this and a daily close through that, then I'm probably looking to, instead of buy the dip, I'm actually probably looking to short and sell on the next bounce. Okay, but I'm going to stick with my bullish bias a little bit longer. I think my two scenarios that I've laid out remain intact. Bitcoin either is topping, but it's not topped yet, okay, and it's going sideways, and alts are going to continue to run and outperform, or Bitcoin has one more expansive leg, everything prices up with it, and then altcoins go on their final rally, and that lines us up time-wise with Q4, Q1 of next year. Those are still the two frameworks I'm operating within. Neither of them have been invalidated. So that's my bullish case. We've seen ETH run. Then we saw Sol run. Now we're seeing some other stuff down the risk curve run. And then what we're going to see, hopefully after that, is a rotation back to Bitcoin and one more Bitcoin leg. Or at least a Bitcoin bounce, and then just alts continue to go, right? But that's my thesis. We're down 14% off the high after putting in the weekly SFP. We're due for a bounce. This is where it could and should happen, in my opinion. Now, what is the bearish argument? Because we have to be open to both scenarios. There is equally likely, even though I'm bullish and I have my reasons for being so, I could be wrong. What are the bears seeing? What do they have going in their favor? Starting at the highest time frame, right? You do have this kind of monthly tweezer top, and I don't really look at candlestick patterns on their own very much. That being said, when you get these kind of tweezers, generally, it's been a topping pattern on the monthly, right? And a bottoming pattern on the monthly. And this does look kind of swing highish. We took out the prior month's high, but maybe we're just going to take out last month's low, and then that's it, right? We don't know yet. And we do have that monthly OB there. I'm talking about the bulls again, but just the bears do have this going for it, these kind of tweezer highs. You do have the weekly bearish SFP, and a lot of our tops have formed with a weekly bearish SFP followed by a weekly structure break. There's your weekly structure break. The top was in. There's your weekly structure break. The top was in. We're going to want to watch very closely here as a bull how this weekly candle closes. We ideally want to see us close above 111,870, which is that range low. If we close below that, even though we're into this demand here, I like the setup a lot less. I would really love for this weekly candle to end with a wick that closes above there. It's not a must do. It's not a what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a deal breaker for me, but it is preferable. If you remember back here, we had the weekly sweep Then the weekly didn't close as the structure break. It had that crazy wick, but then the next candle crushed downwards. You kind of had this, and then on the 3-day, it was like, okay, well, it did actually get the structure break there. This was your retest to sell. The 3-day, unfortunately, has already broken structure. So the bears do have some ammunition to go on. The monthly, iffy. The weekly, definitely iffy. The 3-day has broken structure, right? Like this is your uptrend. That is a structure break there, just like it was here, right? So we do have to be cognizant of this, and the weekly H12 setup ended up kind of playing out perfectly, and I didn't end up taking it. If you guys remember, I marked this out. I said, well, here's our weekly breaker zone, and I thought maybe we would come up and take out these highs on this bounce, and that would be the short, and it just never did. That ended up being the retest you got. So the bears do have some ammo. Right? They've got some good reasons to be looking at this thing and saying, it's a little sketchy, but I've laid out my reasons why I'm going to remain in Team Bull for now, and my invalidation levels are very clear, right? Ideally, we get a weekly close back above here. And if we don't, ideally, the time that we spend under this prior all-time high level is very short-lived, and we reclaim it, because you can have a structure break, right, like this, right? Like this was a structure break, right? Weekly made a lower low. That's not good after making a lower high, but then it reclaimed it right away. You're back to bull, right? Same thing can happen here. It works the same as an SFP, where if we do get a structure break here, it's not ideal at all, but if we get a quick reclaim of that, then it becomes very bullish. You treat it like an SFP, and this becomes your invalidation, that deviation, right? So I'm holding on to my bullish bias for now, in summary, but the bulls have some work to do, specifically on Bitcoin, right? The Bitcoin, at the very least, Bitcoin needs to go sideways for the fun to continue on alts. But ideally, Bitcoin is in the process of finding a bottom and hopefully, in my opinion, regaining the lead and taking over again. That's what I want to see. I want to see Bitcoin dominance bounce. I want to see Bitcoin bounce, Bitcoin lead the charge again, make a higher high, and then this thing continue. Because if it does top, pretty gay, right? If we're already topped, pretty gay. So that's my plan. I know it's, it's hopefully a little bit of hopium for you. It's a little bit of hopium for you, I hope. Because I'm still holding on to my bullish bias, but there is some stacking bearish confluences that we need to be aware of, and I am prepared to flip my bias on the snap of a finger with zero ego if the market tells me to do so. Like if the bulls do not step in and we lose structure and we're losing levels, then I'm wrong, and I'm willing to be wrong. You cut your losses and you make a new decision. Okay? Simple as that. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. I wouldn't stress too much. I don't think you need to make a decision on whether or not to buy, sell all of your cryptocurrency here, fire sale. I still believe that even if we get a really significant pullback here, right? Because if you think about this, like we pull back sub 100K, right? Which is possible. We can sweep this low. We're talking now we're 20+% off the high. At the very least, we're going to get a bounce. And, you hope that bounce you sell into. Like if we come up here, but then start showing rejection, well, then maybe that's what we sell. I don't know. But for now, I'm going to assume that this is a retest. And if we start holding below here, then it looks more like it's absolutely a top. And you know what? Okay, I'm ending up selling my Bitcoin here. And if that was it, and we're going to get some sort of big correction, the fact that we long from here to here is pretty fucking good. I don't care if I miss this last little thrust, right? So that's all I got for you guys. I'm not going to go over any altcoins or anything like that in this video because I think Bitcoin is what we want to focus on. We want to see Bitcoin kind of hold right around where it is right now. Can it go a little lower? Yeah, but I don't want to see any real sustained time below the 2024 all-time high, which is around 109,000. Right? I want to see this weekly candle ideally close with a nice lower wick, or at the very least, a very early week, next week turnaround and reclaim of the 111 level for the bulls to show some signs of hope. Otherwise, we're starting to look iffy. We're starting to look quite iffy. So prepared for anything, but I'm willing to hold on to my bullish bias a little bit longer. and hope that one of these two scenarios play out. And if it doesn't, we take our licks, we move on to the next trade. It's as simple as that, guys. But anyways, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. As always, all my bullshit's in the description of these videos. So if you want to support your boy, Breakout, Ref Links, Haven, all that shit's in the description of the video. Use code MAIN at checkout on Breakout to get a little discount code. If you're in America, I hope you enjoy your long weekend. It's Labor Day on Monday. If not, you're like me. We're working. We work every day. There's no days off, baby. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys on Monday. That'll be when I do my next video. Until then, talk to you soon. Bye.